Hello. This is a part of the series where we talk about the different linguistic communities present in Mumbai. I will be talking to you about the Gamadia, which is a part of the Gujarati language. Gam in Gujarati means a village, so Gamadia directly translates to a villager or a person from a village. The maximum number of Gamadia people who have migrated from Gujarat to Maharashtra can be found in areas like Mahalakshmi, where they have Ramdev Nagar and Shanti Nagar. When you walk in the lanes of these places, you realize the most willing and supportive people to talk about this language are the people who are men or women above 50 and 60. These are also the groups of people who initially were the first generation to come from Gujarat to Maharashtra, either with their parents or in search of work. Today, they proudly say that the language is still the same, the dialect still remains the same, and they still talk the same way even in Maharashtra. As the generation goes further, the Gujarati language is present in the household, but the number of speakers has been decreasing lately. The youngest generation of the toddlers or schoolgoers from 10 to 15 years old speak in English among themselves. These kids also speak in Hindi with their parents. But when these parents speak with each other, they speak a Hindi and Gujarati infused kind of a language. But these parents speak in proper Gamadia when they talk to their grandparents. So somewhere or the other, the people, the men or the women who are above 50 and 60, who were the first generation to come from Gujarat till here, are still stuck in their own language, in their village ways. They even complain about not being educated, but how they wanted an education for their children. And now their children have jobs and they can speak in English and they have a better life. But they are still somewhere stuck in their own Gamadia old ways. So when these people talk about their language here, they talk about it with a certain nostalgia, which is relevant given the fact that the language or the language speakers must have changed a bit in the transition from Gujarat to Maharashtra. The only difference between the Gamadia language and the actual Gujarati language is Gamadia is the core language, the language of the local villagers that they speak in villages. And since these are agricultural folks, people who work hard, people who toil hard, the language tends to get a little bit rude, or it tends to sound a bit rude, although they don't really mean to be rude, or they don't really mean to make you feel like that. It's just that the tone of the language is a little bit rude. A tiny example that one of the men gave me was, if you would want somebody to move forward, then in Gujarati you would tell them Siddho chal. That means that please go forward. But if you are a Gamadia person, you would make it a little bit more assertive and you would sound something like chal Siddho, something like that. So the slight difference in the tone and the slight difference in the pronunciation of the words is the only difference. The Gamadias in Mumbai and Maharashtra have a community thing where they try to meet up almost every month and have their festivities together. They celebrate Navratras together and they celebrate Holi's together, just to make sure that the community is closely knit and they don't really lose their identity when they are in a different state. They also try and tend to attend each other's marriages and every kind of function that a Gamadia family has, so that the young generation and even the older generation is in touch with its own cultures and customs. The people from all over Gujarat, any village, they would be called Gamadias. Gamadias are not really restricted to one particular village of Gujarat, but people from any village of Gujarat would be called Gamadias. So to end it, I would like to say that the Gamadias are a fun bunch of people who celebrate a lot of festivals, who are still very, very proud of their language and of their clothings, or poshak as they like to call it. They are very proud of their cultures, and they say that the language has not really gone through a major change, but the language speakers are changing now, and that is the only uncomfortable thing about the present that they feel. They do not accept it as a threat, because they say that we are so much in love with our culture that we will not let it die. But that does seem concerning to some of the elderly of the community, that the children nowadays don't really know the exact words or the exact pronunciations for Gujarati words which were pretty common in their age. But with the coming of the modern age, the Gamadias have not only restricted themselves to the villages, but now are almost spread out in the entire country. And they are going forward, and they are developing with the new developments, and they are becoming better equipped with life, and are just moving towards prosperity as a Gujarati language community. And they're, well, they surely are celebrating their way towards prosperity. Thank you.